Don't say all right.
I think someone was. Thank you. I think so. I think someone in chat had asked earlier, are there any Terrans left? Yes, this is the last one standing. We'll see how he fares here, guys. Spawning in the lower right corner of the map in the semifinals in this best of 3. It's the Royal, the Purple, the Millennium Terran player known as DieStar.
And in the top right-hand corner, we have the Korean, the Samsung Galaxy Armani, playing as the teal blue Zerg.
Yeah, you guys may have seen him before in the past. His old alias was Burning. Recently changed it to Armani. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Of course, I forgot to give a little shout out and introduction to not only myself. I'm Rifkin. Hi guys, how you doing? I'm also joined today by Blisk. He's a pretty awesome Protoss player.
No.
He was the handsome guy in the IEM booth, if you remember that.
Who would remember that? But yeah.
Your
anyway,
fans, obviously. I mean, if I was there watching, someone else must have been.
Yeah.
Come on, Blisk. Have some more confidence.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to say, like, for Jakji, I feel like it's a slight step back, but for him, I don't know. In NS Hoseo, when he was still in the GSTL and stuff, it seemed like he was, like, people knew him for what he was doing. But now that he's in MYI, he seems to be doing well still, but I feel like it's a step back. While for Stardust, it's a huge thing for him to be in, like, a team house and in Europe compared to when he was in... I'm not sure whether he was living in NA or in Korea, but he was on Team Light, and he was never on a Korean proper team, right? He was always on NA teams. And once he came on MYI, he started racking up all these good achievements, like he won his first DreamHack, and now he's doing really well in Aces Rock and stuff like that. So I feel like the move to Europe has been really, really good for Stardust.
Yeah, small context here for those who don't know what we're talking about. It's just discussing Koreans living in Europe at the moment. And yeah, the thing you say about Jakshi, well, we just, again, it's a standard opening, guys. Nothing cheesy. That's why we're filling time. I think, I don't know that I would necessarily consider a team back or a step back. If you're looking as far as like Jakshi getting, part of my phrasing, I'm gonna borrow some phrasing from League of Legends here. But if you're looking as far as Jakshi getting carried, then yes, it's a step back. He's definitely doing the heavy lifting of My Insanity, but combined with players like A-Bomb who've kind of come out of the woodwork, Kane, Stardust, I mean, these are people who are laying down the groundwork to make My Insanity a big team. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Like, who the hell was My Insanity in 2013?
Really when I said step back, I meant more of like his... Like in Korea, you got this great pool of players where you practice with every day, but now it's mostly just Europeans. Like, he doesn't really get to practice on that Korean ladder with those like sick Korean GMs or those like huge big names. But even then, in a team house, yes, those really good players like Kane and stuff, so still he gets good practice, but just not as great as before where you had that team house regimen like in NS Socio House. So I don't know, that was mainly more what I meant compared to like step back of carrying the team or whatever.
Well, either way, a couple Reapers do force out a couple of extra lings. It's actually really uncommon to see 2 Reapers on the front lines like this anymore. I mean, normally it's the one and the other one stays at home because 2 lings get sent across the map, but Burning playing full defensive game right now.
And really good use of the harassment there on that Queen, dealing it down to half hit points already, and Reapers regenerate hit points much quicker than Zerg units do. Yeah, so you can keep doing that.
We found the secret to the combat drugs a little while ago. You know what it is?
What?
They're just crushed up Mutalisk wings. That's got to be like the syringe full of combat drugs because nothing else regens that fast in the game.
It's like the combination of shield, like Protoss shield, liquid, and Mutalisk wings.
Yeah. Someone just asked me real quick, how does he have 49 resources lost? He had a build cancel of a Spore Crawler in the main. Ooh, loses that Reaper. That's actually a huge mistake, I feel. The Reapers had so much power to the Hellion push that follows this. Even just losing one really strips away a good chunk of the power, as well as the DPS in this.
Ooh, and Armani hides the drone there, so didn't scout it out the first time, and now he gets the hatchery down. And Armani here, just with his queens protecting really well, and he's starting to wall off his natural here, and this is only to deal for the Hellions basically, and you see even now 2 more Hellions to add on, and that's basically 6 Hellions in total. He's gonna swap it over, probably build another barracks.
Double engineering bay coming too. This is one of the scenarios too where I kind of feel like if he had gone for, rather than the Reaper Hellion opening, but like Hellion Banshee instead, he could have gotten a lot more use and more effectiveness out of this. But I think he's gonna struggle to kill these queens. I mean, he might get one.
Yeah, but he transfuses the other one, and the other one might actually
the other one doesn't.
go down.
I don't know why he kept it here. He could have brought that back, hidden behind the lanes. They may be slow, but on a creep, they can still try and take a fight. 10 health. Ooh. Oh my god. Armani is... You know, I kind of feel like this is kind of a bit of that lag we were talking about too, the Korean to European problems. Like, these are engagements where perhaps if there was no lag, absolutely not even a millisecond, maybe Armani micros around this a little bit better, but losing queens, losing lings like that. Since a small handful of speedlings across the map, but the full wall-off is up for DieStar, so he's not going to get caught off guard by this at all.
Yeah, especially versus Terran. So many, like, there's so many things which are very micro-intensive where you have to deal with. And good wall-off there. I was getting a little bit afraid for DieStar when he didn't wall-off it during the game, like
it's
during the early game.
It's like the 6-minute mark. Like, that's your, like, I need to have a wall down.
And he just walls it up just in time when he knows the Lings have ran past the Hellions. Like, once he sees that the units aren't at Armani's base, he starts to wall off, which is really smart move, really mineral efficient and conservative. And his third command center going on the low ground right now. I'm surprised that Terrans are so bold with their command centers now.
He is the wall down, and
he doesn't...
He shouldn't lose too much of this. Hell, the SCV should be able to clean this up, much less the Marines, but still a mistake to let that in the first place. Loses an SCV in the end, but not a big deal.
Yeah, I guess the more important thing for DieStar, I mean for Armani, is that he got to scout everything, like all the timings of DieStar. You're not going to be surprised really of what the Terran has, but it's more of like timings of when the starport gets set down into those reactors, so you know when the first 2 medevacs are coming. And when the next aggression is gonna hit. And you can see 4 Zerglings getting into the third just to check it out.
Small side note, guys, when you see my mouse kind of do this stupid thing and it just drags off to the middle of nowhere, that's because the mouse sucks, and I finally decided to replace it, so hopefully that won't happen too much more in future casts. I just want to apologize for that because I am so done with that in a big frustrating way. Because, like, you won't even move the mouse. Like, I'll have it perfectly still. Hell, my hand could be off of it. And for no reason, it'll sometimes just drag to the bottom of the screen. And I think it's just something broken at the laser. I thought it was like a hair or something for the longest time, but there's literally nothing in there. Like,
Oh, I get that, actually. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I always think there's, like, dust on the laser or something, so I try to polish it as hard as I can. It turns out it's just,
Depot's down once again. It's... Again, 4 Lings are not a real big threat to the mineral line. SCVs alone can clean these up, but not something you want to have to do. Actually, going to lose a couple SCVs here.
Yep, and Armani spreading his units out preemptively so he could engage that without having to split his Lings up during the fight. Mutalisk here now, and I think that's going to help him out to clean this small task force. Oh, actually, no.
Without that centrifugal hooks.
Is splitting way too well, yeah.
Yeah, without centrifugal hooks, there's just no way to really take this on. Now, this is something
I've not even upgrading it yet.
I've never seen anyone do this, but walling off the bottom of the ramp here for DieStar to prevent run-bys?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Some Terrans have started doing this nowadays. And DieStar just gaining so much value out of these engages. He's pre-spread his units very well, so whenever Armani tries to attack into his force, he just soaks up so many Baneling hits with very little units, so he ends up having much more supply than usually he would. So you can see his supply is even ahead, and against the Zerg, if you're ahead in supply, you're usually doing very well.
Yeah, I mean, that can change in a heartbeat though. It takes one bad cluster of Marines and a couple good Baneling hits that can really just ruin your life. But 4th base being established, I don't think DieStar's seen this yet. No, so he has no knowledge of this at the moment. Might think he's doing a great job of keeping Armani off of this one, but of course that's not really the case at the moment.
I want to say, even though it's a good job that Armani's spreading out his Overlord so well, but it's allowing DieStar, who's being so dominant.
Oh, that would have Still gets the hit off. This base may go down, but it's going to cost him everything. The medevacs actually would be a great thing to pick off. Now Bailey's going to join the force. There's not a lot of them, and again, without that speed bonus, hard to use, but straight into the Marines. Oh my god. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, it takes a good cluster of units to really just get a couple of bailing hits off, and suddenly you're back in this game in a big way.
Yeah, it's all like that's why actually I feel TVZ is so exciting to watch. It's like a back and forth game, except it's all all dependent on engages, like one engage followed by one engage.
It's probably the closest to like a tug of war that most matchups are.
Yeah. And more Banelight's gonna get morphed here, and he's gonna need.
Ooh.
His centrifugal hooks are like 20 seconds away from being done here.
Do you see what DieStar has been making and researching behind this? Though he's going for Hellbats with Blue Flame. I find this very interesting. So hang on, we got a bit. I'll talk about that in a second. The centrifugal hook's still not done, even off of creep. Not really a way you want to take this. And look at that spread out of DieStar. I mean, really gonna force Armani to work for these kills.
So many Banelings hitting on those Marauders here, and that's just not getting out the full value of those Banelings.
No, not at all. So this is okay. This has been interesting to see. You're going to see the Hellbat production try and start taking over some of the place of the Widow Mines. You might be thinking, but Widow Mines are so good at hitting Mutalisks and doing this and that, but realistically they aren't. You don't see a lot of Widow Mines kill Mutalisks very often. It's usually the Marines that will clean them up. So by putting all these Hellbats down, they got a lot of health, so they'll soak the Baneling hits a lot better than the Marines will, but they'll roast these Zerglings to pieces. And as we see here, if the Zerglings, if there's no ground force, the Marines can just go ham on the air. If you focus down on Mutalisks, great, but unfortunately the unit counting right now, I don't know, it's not really enough to drive Armani scared, but fighting back now, waiting for those extra Banelings to come in. 13 Marines at a time with these Hellbats now. Blue Flame, as I said, he's going to soak up all of the Banelings pretty much. Yeah, only a couple Banelings get connects, and there's not a lot of Marines left, but that was a low count of Hellbats. If he comes back forward with, like, say, 15 Hellbats and, like, 40 Marines, I'm pretty sure he takes decisive engagements against this composition, at least if handled correctly.
Yeah. And I don't know, I still favor those Widow Mines. Like, if you're going Marine Marauder Widow Mine, it's still, like, I'd favor that prefer to Hellbats, but I don't know.
I think a lot of it comes down to the nuance of how you try and use it. If you see a player like Armani knows how to split against the Widow Mines, or he's got the Overseers out sniping them off, then the Widow Mines are going to be effectively useless and kind of like good luck, have fun units. Whereas the Hellbats, you're guaranteed some return on this investment. You're guaranteed to get some damage done with that Blue Flame, whether it's just one volley, whether it's soaking the Banelings. It's a lot less risky and gambly than the Widow Mines are, I feel.
Oh, that makes sense. And you can see he's actually started one Thor. Yeah, where's that Thor? Yeah, there it is. The
Thor's, yeah.
Yeah.
So Thor's kind of have this really dumb AI where if there's like 50 Mutalisks clumped up in one spot, but there's one Zergling, they'll prioritize the Zergling. So not always the easiest to get the best usage out of them. Ooh, nice types of these missile turrets before they go up. That's a little unfortunate. Of course, with the amount of Mutalisks that Armani's been bulking up behind this gets more and more scary. I mean, 20-ish Mutalisks, this is kind of your mid-game. But if those go above 30, that's when it becomes like almost impossible to deal with.
Yeah.
Hiccup. Sorry.
And not only for Terrans, I can say
it's most races. I mean, Zerg can't even contend with it.
Oh my god. That Thor is dealing so much damage to Mutalisks.
Oh, it's going to catch him. They're going to fly over top of the Marines. Oh, but he can't. He's got to split versus the Banelings. A couple more volleys coming out of this Thor. It's up to 10 kills so far, and most of those are Mutalisks. 28 have been killed so far.
So many Mutalisks.
But see, what just happened there with the Banelings is exactly what I was talking about with these Hellbats. It's more of a solid return on your investment. Now with the Marines still standing, Armani, he lost so many Mutalisks that, and I mean, it's not Zerglings, it's not Banelings that are scary, it's the Mutalisks that clean up, and that they retain those numbers. Nowhere close to 20, much less 30. Armani is not in a spot where he can use these Mutalisks to bully the game. And a new Thor has been brought to the front lines. In fact, supply block now with those Overlords going down. Banelings will try and connect, but as we see, nothing getting done. This is looking really grim for our Zerg player.
Yeah, you can see that he's trying to find areas where the Hellbats aren't at to try to engage.
Oh.
And GG goes down for the first game for DieStar.
I'm not sure if you caught that at the end. That Thor soaked like 7 Banelings too. That was just...
Yeah, you could see like at one point of time, he was trying to find areas where Hellbats weren't at, so he could make full use of those lings. But he like ran to the back, there's one Hellbat. Ran to the front, there's a Thor. You don't want to be targeting a Thor. So he ran to the side where there's like a small pack of Marines, and that was the only place he could really engage there. So yeah, Hellbat's actually proving really efficient.
Yeah, it was.
Today I learned.
It's just one of those things that ended up working. It doesn't always work, and Hellbats are not always the best choice, guys, but I think a big part of that, too, is Armani perhaps being a little bit caught off guard by it. Again, when you're a Korean player who's used to playing other Koreans who only go Widow Mines like 9 times out of 10, it is weird to see Hellbats. It really is. But I think one of the things that hurt the most that game, too, that centrifugal hooks was really late. Like, if that had been out earlier, maybe you took the earlier engagements and kept the Marine count from getting out of hand, I guess, or like had been able to bully the economy in some way. I mean, we'll see. Game 2 being made right now. I'm going to try and ninja join here off of Mori. Alter Zim. Ooh, this is actually a really fun TVZ map. 20 bases. Yeah.